They thought it would be funny, making her stand in front of the entire class, violin in hand, expecting her to embarrass herself. But when the bow touched the strings, the laughter stopped. And what happened next left even the teachers speechless. It was a chilly Monday morning at Ridgewood High School. The air buzzed with whispers as students shuffled into the auditorium for the annual talent showcase. Among them was Amara Johnson, a quiet 16-year-old black girl who usually kept to herself. She loved music, especially her violin, but few knew about her gift. That morning, two teachers, Mr. Crane and Mrs. Whitfield, stood off to the side. They were known for playing favorites, often dismissing kids they didn't believe would shine. Mrs. Whitfield smirked, whispering to Crane, "Did you see Amara signed up? With a violin? This'll be something. I bet she can barely play." "Twinkle, twinkle, little star," Mr. Crane chuckled. "Then let's put her on early. Could use a laugh to loosen up the crowd." They thought it would be a joke, a setup. When Amara's name was called, whispers spread like wildfire. "Amara, she's going to play the violin. Bet she's awful." "This'll be hilarious." Amara stepped on stage, clutching her instrument. Her palms were sweaty, her heart racing. She could hear the giggles. She could feel the eyes waiting for her to fail. But deep down she knew something they didn't. This was her chance to reveal the truth. Amara adjusted the violin under her chin. For a moment the room was restless, students whispering, a few even snickering. The teachers smirked in the corner. Then she drew the bow across the strings. The sound that came out wasn't shaky or broken or clumsy. It was smooth, rich, powerful. Gasps filled the auditorium. Her fingers danced across the strings, pouring out a haunting melody, Beethoven's Violin Concerto in D major, a piece most seasoned players avoided because of its difficulty. But Amara played it with soul. Every note told a story. Of nights she'd spent practicing while the world slept, of sacrifices her mother made to rent that very violin, of the loneliness she felt in a school that never saw her potential. The giggles died, the whispers stopped, even the teachers froze, jaws dropping. The auditorium was silent, except for her music. By the time she reached the crescendo, some students had tears in their eyes. Others sat wide-eyed, stunned. When the final note faded, the silence was deafening, until the entire room erupted in thunderous applause. Amara lowered her violin slowly, her chest rising and falling. For the first time, she stood tall, unafraid. She had silenced them, with nothing but truth in her music. Backstage, chaos buzzed. Students crowded around her, praising her. "Amara, that was incredible. You're amazing. How long have you been playing?" But not everyone was happy. Mrs. Whitfield stormed up, her smile tight. "Well, that was unexpected. But don't think one performance means anything. You got lucky." Amara's eyes didn't waver. "That wasn't luck. That was years of hard work." Mr. Crane tried to cut in. "You should have told us you could actually play." Amara tilted her head. "Would you have believed me?" The teachers exchanged uneasy glances. The truth was, they never gave her a chance because they assumed she couldn't shine, and now their bias had been exposed in front of the entire school. The principal, Mr. Lopez, approached. "Amara, that was one of the finest performances I've ever heard. We'll be recommending you for the State Music Showcase. You'll represent Ridgewood." The crowd of students cheered. The teachers froze, realizing their joke had just turned into Amara's triumph. Later that week, the teachers were summoned to a staff meeting. They expected a lecture about professionalism, but what they didn't expect was the truth Amara had kept hidden. Mr. Lopez cleared his throat. "I've been contacted by the State Youth Orchestra. They've confirmed Amara Johnson has already been playing with them for 2 years. Gasps echoed in the room. "She's not just good," Lopez continued. "She's one of the best young violinists in the state. And thanks to her performance here, she's now being considered for the National Youth Symphony." The teachers' faces drained of color. Their joke had backfired spectacularly. Amara's mother, who had been invited, spoke softly but firmly. "My daughter has worked harder than anyone. But too often people look at her and see only skin color, not talent. Thank you for finally seeing her today." Whitfield and Crane sat in shame, their arrogance shattered. Weeks later, Amara performed at the state showcase. This time she wasn't just playing for applause. She was playing for every student who had ever been doubted. Her story spread across the community. Local papers wrote about her. Colleges reached out. And back at Ridgewood High, things changed. Students who once mocked her now respected her. Teachers who ignored her now sought her advice. As Amara walked the halls, violin case in hand, she held her head higher than ever. Not because she wanted revenge, but because she knew the truth. Her gift had finally been seen. And no one, not even the teachers who tried to humiliate her, could take that away. They told her to play as a joke, expecting failure. But instead, she silenced an entire room with her brilliance. Amara's story reminds us that sometimes the world laughs at your potential until you show them who you really are, and when you do, even your harshest critics are forced into silence. What about you? Have you ever been underestimated only to prove everyone wrong? Share your story in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more stories filled with truth, twists, and powerful life lessons.